The first SEC challenge for new Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin comes in Week 3 against the Auburn Tigers. Can the Rebs win? Let's take a look at Auburn. Despite playing one of the toughest schedules in the nation a year ago, Auburn managed to win 9 games, and that's with a true freshman quarterback. Bo Nix was really impressive at times, good enough to win SEC Freshman of the Year, but he was also inconsistent. He finished his debut season with the Tigers with 16 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, completing just under 57% of his throws. But those numbers should improve this season, especially with the addition of Chad Morris as Auburn's offensive coordinator. While Morris struggled as head coach at Arkansas, he's still considered a great offensive mind, and his offenses are known to feature quarterbacks who put up big numbers. Nix is obviously one of the top young quarterbacks in the SEC, and a guy who not only possesses a great arm, but also mobility that saw him rush for over 300 yards and 7 touchdowns a year ago. With Morris at the helm, Auburn's going to throw it a lot more than last season, and it helps that the Tigers have a deep core of receivers. Seth Williams leads that group. Despite Nix's inconsistencies a season ago, Williams hauled in 59 catches for 830 yards and 8 touchdowns, and he's poised for a breakout season. Williams stands at 6'3", 224 pounds, and he's also fast. He's already viewed as a future first-round NFL draft pick, and this season should help his draft stock even more. The Tigers' second option in the passing game is a guy many consider the fastest man in college football, Anthony Schwartz. Schwartz is so fast, he was set to make a decision between football or track and field in the hopes of qualifying for the Olympics, but since the Tokyo Games were canceled because of coronavirus, Schwartz will probably play this season. Then there's Eli Stove, another speedy receiver who's skilled as a blocker and possesses the ability to become a high-volume catcher when Williams and Schwartz have the attention of opposing defenses. The Tigers' backfield is also stocked. Even though Boobie Whitlow, Auburn's top running back over the last couple of seasons, is gone, the Tigers returned the talented DJ Williams, and they've also added Tank Bigsby, one of the top running backs in last year's recruiting cycle, and this kid should get carries right away. Auburn also has solid options in Sean Shivers and Harold Joyner. The biggest question for the Auburn offense is the guys up front. The Tigers lost 4 starters on the offensive line, including left tackle Prince Tega Wanogo. Center Nick Brahms is the only returning starter, and while there is talent among that group, it's going to be a tough task for new O-line coach Jack Bicknell to find a solid starting 5 without any spring practice to work with. The Auburn defense has to replace a couple of big names up front as well. Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson are both in the NFL now, so the Tigers are going to need some guys to step up. Tyrone Truesdale is a name to pick up some of that lost production, along with Big Cat Bryant. The strength of the Auburn defense this year is in its linebacking core. All 3 starters are back, including KJ Britt, who was a first-team All-SEC selection last season, Chandler Wooten, who's a solid veteran, and Owen Pappoe, who started as a true freshman a year ago and should be even better in his second season with the Tigers. Auburn's secondary needs some work though, with 4 starters from a year ago no longer there, including talented cornerback Noah Igbenogany. Roger McCreary will most likely assume Igbenogany's role, while safety Jamie Sherwood is a name to remember. I'd feel a lot better for Ole Miss if this game was later in the season versus at the beginning. I mean, this 3-game stretch featuring Auburn, LSU, and Alabama would benefit Ole Miss a lot later in the season because I think the Rebs are still going to be figuring stuff out early in the year. You're talking about a new coaching staff, and literally the 3rd week of the season, here you go. It's the first conference game of the year. That's a lot to ask for in my opinion, but I don't think Ole Miss should be counted out. I think the Rebels will play a much closer game than probably many expect, and who knows, you get a couple things to go your way in close games. This could be a very impressive win for Lane Kiffin in year 1. Not likely, but it could happen. But we'll just have to wait and see. For the Ole Miss Spirit, I'm Suda Upadhyaya.